Hey everyone, this is Louis7 and I am streaming The Lord of the Rings Online. We are going to be previewing Update 28 Beta, build number 2 at that. So there have been a surprisingly large amount of changes since the first build, and I'm excited to look at some more of the stuff. So of course in the first one, trying to remember back to what I did in that, I explored the new zone a little bit, did the mission system, at least what I could with that, and talked about the patch and all that good stuff. And unfortunately I never got to trying the raid. That might be something I eventually try to do maybe in today's stream. And I know there's at least the 6-man instance. I don't know if the raid is in this build. That's something I have to actually look at still, but if I do that, it will be later, and if I find an open group. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I just realized that I'm like totally distracted here. It's been a busy weekend and busy day for me, but I finally, if anybody's watched some of my recent stuff, you probably know I had a test today, and I've just been busy with that. But it looks like the very first mission we could jump into is the intro mission on this character. I logged on him so we could do that, and that is the mission that was bugged for a couple things. First off, on my first character, I never actually got the intro quest to do that. And then on my next character, that actual mission was bugged, but it has been fixed. It was actually fixed before build 2 even. They made an update in the middle of build 1 that fixed that. So before I do that though, I want to get this. Let's see that. Yeah, so you all can see this is the forum thread for update 28 preview number 2 for the new stuff. So first off, the very first thing I actually noticed with this is that they actually have information on War of the Three Peaks and like what's actually in it. So that is a good thing that we actually know. And this is stuff we found out from the update, but it was like before we got into it. It was just one of the things for me that led to the launch being rough. But that's kind of one thing. I'll have a video on this actually. I plan to try to do that maybe by tomorrow about some of the things they have improved with the beta already, because it did have a rough start. But we actually have information on the Bloody Threshold, which is the raid. And it just has a little description here in that line, and then same with the Stair Battle. That's the 6-man instance, and that's this line, and it's a multi-tiered 6-man. The raid, the Bloody Threshold, Don Demol, I have no idea how to say that, but that one, the Bloody Threshold, is the 12-man raid. And then they also have a highlight for the Elderslade missions, and yeah, it's just like time to retake Gundabad is at hand. The time to retake Gundabad is at hand, rather, is kind of the point with that, I think. And these are solo or duo scalable instances. It says short, and short is definitely true. And then it actually tells you a little bit of background on those. And then the new release notes here are in violet, but I do want to, I'm on my Guardian character, I do want to look at that a little bit. So we'll go through and I'll try to actually get a better idea of what's actually going on with these. And then, yeah, the new 6-player instance is available for a first look. And it looks like the other thing is a few death and stuck spots have been fixed. Apparently there was a death spot in Breetown. I did not know that. I don't know if that was something somehow introduced in this beta or not, but we can go ahead and get back to the game, and I think start with the mission. So the intro missions, I never actually got to stream this. In one of my videos I had it in the background gameplay of my champion going through it, but we can actually do the intro mission and hopefully complete it. I think that is exciting to finally get to, and hopefully it works. And one thing I do want to point out with this stream, and trying to remember, I got distracted because my phone, it does like the flashing light when it has a notification, and that just bothered me and totally distracted me somehow. But for today's stream, I do plan to go probably for a couple hours, just however long it takes to test everything and check everything new. But yesterday I never did. Wow, that did 111,000 damage. This character, I don't remember actually going to the Isengard Tavern on him, but somehow his legendary weapon got like to the max tier with the DPS legacy. Now I did put a few starlight crystals in it, but I thought it was way farther away from max, so maybe this character was better built than I thought. But yeah, that's definitely strong. And this first mission is like, it's one of the longer missions actually. A lot of the missions, as we saw the first time, were pretty short. This one's a bit longer. And one thing, I do have a little comment on the difficulty. It's going to be going very quickly on this character because his LI is built up well. I actually might have gone to the Isengard Tavern. I did go to the Isengard Tavern on this character. So his virtues are up, he has all his class trait points and all that stuff, which basically means that I am very strong for level 112. So that would be a bad representation, I think, of the average player going through missions at this level, but overall they are definitely easy. And I think that's partially because they're scaling. They're like the entry level sort of difficulty if you scale them to whatever level, which I think is personally a good thing that they're easy, first of all, but having a little bit more challenge I don't think would be bad either. But in case anybody doesn't know, the point where this mission was bugged was actually before here. So when we had the warg that we couldn't attack at first, that is when it used to be bugged and you had to talk to this dwarf, Ozma. So yeah, we just have to wait for them to talk. I actually, just to fill the time a little bit, can go out and defeat some orcs. And so far, I'm also not sure if there are any different rewards for missions. I know there are more things you can trade your coins in for, which, if I remember correctly, are like Gabalaka copper coins or something like that you get. The orc has noticed me. He's going back there where I'm not, but that's just the way this mission is. If you're actually hiding with the Scoutmaster like you're supposed to, you would be back over there. So yesterday, this is something I was about to talk about earlier before I got distracted, is yesterday I was actually planning on doing a stream, but I never got around to it. It got too late Sunday until I could do it, and it would. I was basically unable to think at that point, just completely worn out from the day, so that probably wouldn't have been too fun of a stream, so I decided not to. And then today I also wasn't planning on streaming, but there was the update 28, this new beta build for this. So I thought that would be interesting to do. And it looks like this did not happen on my champion, but the Scoutmaster just completely ignores these NPCs. It's a bit odd. But yeah, we're just like finished, so we get the mission complete and then we have to talk to the Dwarf Scout. And one thing I don't know with this beta build is if low levels actually get the proper rewards. That was something that was not working through the entirety in build 1, even after they did the update to fix missions, to make the missions work. Low level still did not, unfortunately, get any rewards. But I got 15 Gabalaka War Marks. It looks like only 3 missions. A few missions are available once you do the intro quest. That's interesting. It looks like they changed the reward. Complete 3 missions. So you get copper coins of Gundabad now. I don't know how you get the Gabalaka War Marks, but the copper coins of Gundabad is interesting because even as a level 112, a low level, oh, you also get Scrolls of Empowerment and Starlight Crystal for the weekly. That's better. That's definitely much better on the rewards, I think. Looks like it's the max tier Starlet and Scroll of Empowerment, but still better than what it used to be, which was nothing extra there. But the Gundabad, copper coins of Gundabad that I get from the daily and the weekly, these are actually, there's a lot of new gear here. That's after I did the thing, I was going to look at all this stuff. But these are what you spend the copper coins of Gundabad on, and not the Gabalaka War Marks. All the Gabalaka War Marks are cosmetics. So if I go back to this quartermaster, there are actually more cosmetics. At least when I went through this, I don't remember there being any of these cosmetics in. It looks like this is a cloth or light armor Gabalaka set. That is a little bit unexpected looking. For some reason, I just would not expect something to look like that. It looks more like a dress than a robe. I'm not sure. It's supposed to be a robe, but I'm not sure I would ever use that. Unfortunately, it looks like there's also boots, bracers, trousers, shoulder guard, and armor. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of that cosmetic armor, unfortunately. Other people might like it, I just am personally not a fan of it. I think this is supposed to be the heavy armor version. I'm not sure I like that one as much either. I like the medium one the best, but I'm still not a big fan of that cosmetic as a whole personally. There are the goats, the weapons we saw before. Maybe there was the armor there before. I kind of remember looking at something that at least looked like this. I still think the weapons look really nice. I just really like the look of these weapons. Try to show most of them. The spear I don't like as much. It's a little bit more boring than the other ones of these. I really like the dagger as well. Even the crossbow is relatively neat. I don't know, was there a full bow or is it just crossbow? Yeah, I just see crossbow, but still, I like that one. I think that's the halberd. Yeah, that's the halberd. And then there are a few goats that I can look at. This is the stuff I did look at the first preview, but to be more complete, we can go ahead and look at these. So there is if I can find it, Elderslade battle goat. That is one of these. In fact, if we actually look, we can just look at mounts. There's the Elderslade battle goat. That's the one I'm looking at right now. And then the other ones are pets. That would explain it. It's a light gray goat and a coffee goat. The light gray goat looks like a goat. Yeah, both of these just look like goats to me. Just a little bit different colors, I guess, than what we already have. So it says the burgundy goat is available through completing missions, but that was not from this reward, so I wonder if it's something else. Maybe there's a meta deed to complete all 80 missions, and I'm not sure if this character actually has that to show. Actually, I would have gotten that deed. So if you complete all 80 missions, you get... Actually, you don't get that goat, so I wonder... I'm not sure where you get that goat, but... specifically... the burgundy goat. It just says it's available through completing missions, but I haven't seen it yet. You get the Elderslade Wanderer's Cloak. That is a fancy cloak. Hooded version. I can see. I'm guessing the purple changes when it's dyed. Oops, if I do the right item. Yeah, it's the purple that changes when it's dyed. But that's what you get for completing all 80 missions. It looks like a couple cosmetics is the main thing. 2000 Virtue XP. I don't think it's much for completing 80 missions, at least, and you do get a few war marks, more cosmetic type stuff. So there's a lot of new armor for the copper coins of Gundabad, and I'm guessing the quests also give you copper coins of Gundabad, and not just the missions, like the mission daily and weekly. And I will come back on my level 130 character. This was just a low level character to test maybe a couple missions on before we move up to a level capped character. And I could also do the intro. This character still needed that. But as far as the new armor here, this is something that, as far as I know, was not in the last build when I tested it. This looks quite similar to what we were looking at before. Yeah, this looks like the actual armor, and then the other one's kind of a cosmetic set of this armor. Maybe this is where I saw it from earlier, but they also have different cosmetic weapons. So these do not look the same as the other ones. There's I actually like the Spear of Veils. That one's pretty neat to me. Staff of the Veils, that looks thematic for the area, maybe a little bit south of here more so. But Elderslade, that's an interesting looking sword to me. will work. This probably has stats. Yeah, that's an actual shield. Bunch of pocket items. And these are the Elderslade supply packs. I'm not sure exactly how you get those. Here's the burgundy goat, by the way. That's copper coins of Gundabad as well. And dark gray squirrel. But that is what is going on, I guess, with the missions and the new rewards that weren't in here. I will run one more mission at least. How about uncovered treasures? I have not done that one. I'll do uncovered treasures mission here and see if there's any changes. This is actually in, yeah, this is in Mithrin. The missions seem to take you just around the region. Some of them are probably, I think, located actually towards Gundabad, the gates of Gundabad. And then some of them just take you to surrounding regions like Vales of Anduin, Wells of Langflood, and Mithrin here. I don't remember any other particular zone. Some might have been, there were quite a few in caves that weren't really clear where they were, if they were like in some cave in Gundabad actually, or if it was just like in that general region and Misty Mountains, Vales of Anduin, the Elderslade zone in general, if that's where the missions were, or the caves were. But this one, it looks like a lot of these are really just simple, basically single quests, where maybe in an area like this you would normally have 2 or 3 quests to do. You just have one mission to do, and usually just not too much to it. You might do some extra things, but there's no like quest for them, like here I'm killing the little drakes, and nothing else for it. It looks like there's actually a corpse. This is something I have not seen in a mission yet, is like a lootable, that's basically a chest, it's a lootable corpse. And another thing is, as far as I know, there are still no resources, but that's not something that I have actually tested in this new beta build again. Hey Crazy Zerg, you said you haven't played LOTRO before. Is it worth playing in 2020? I think it is worth at least trying. For my personal taste in games, I think it's worth playing because I like the game, but of course I like the game because I'm streaming it, but I think it's at least worth trying because it is free to play and you can try and see if you like it. And a lot of people play it for the Lord of the Rings aspect. You get to play in Middle Earth and explore the area. And there are limitations to the free to play, so like you'll only get content up to like level 30 or so, but that gives you a lot of time to see if you like it. And even after that, there are some things you can do to unlock some stuff for free to explore a little bit more. You only get like a few zones as far as questing content goes free, but especially if you are willing to pay for the game, you of course get to explore a lot more. But as far as like worth playing, I think it is worth trying, at least because it is free and you do get to see. So with the missions, when you complete them, I think you have to go back to the entrance, and I'm not sure exactly where that is with this one. Some of them, the NPC that you have to talk to at the end, so he's right there. And normally I think if you do this at level 130, you're supposed to get a chest to loot and actually get a reward, and we're not getting that, it looks like, still on low levels. I really don't know if that's a bug. It seems like it's an intentional thing. Oh, you actually get 2 Gobbleaka war marks for turning in each mission now. Maybe that's the way it is, because maybe the chest was bugged and they decided to just... Because this is what you used to get from the chest. You used to get 2 Gobbleaka war marks per chest you looted, and those were only available at high levels. So that's something that's also really nice to see. It definitely looks like this beta is improving, which is kind of expected. Betas definitely improve over time, but that is good to see. So I think we can look a little bit at the Guardian specific changes. I honestly don't even know if I have blue line set up on this character, and I think that's where most changes are, but I can at least look at them. And I don't tank on a Guardian, so I don't have that perspective, but I can at least look at them a little bit quickly. And hi Tropical Sun, you said you know it's not related to update 28, but you were asking if I have any information on the new upcoming hardcore legendary servers. I do not have any information except for what was in the producer's letter much earlier this year, a few months ago. Basically, in that, it said that the Eye of Sauron would open, and during that time, enemies would become stronger, and then your character also becomes stronger during that time as well. So that, to me, doesn't sound too challenging, because you're increasing enemy power, but you're also increasing your own power. So with the Guardian changes, I need to actually look at the patch notes again. We can just look at them real quick. So with Guardian, that's the Thrill of Battle. So I'm actually not sure this will work. I will go ahead and just keep it on LOTRO for you all, because that would get annoying switching back. I'll actually just put this in my Chrome. There we go. Okay, so the Thrill of Battle heal, which as far as I know, no, that's Catch a Breath, that's not Thrill of Battle. Where is Thrill of Battle? Turn the tables, ignore the pain. Is Thrill of Battle, it might be a blue line thing. Oh, this is Thrill of Battle? Okay, so Thrill of Battle is critical hits will heal a percentage of your maximum morale. This is, can't trigger once every 8 seconds. This is basically useless. Not completely useless, but in the old red line, especially as a DPS Guardian, this might be a little bit different thinking from the tank perspective, but healing even 1% of your morale every 8 seconds is not that good. And even if you get it all the way up to 2.5% every 8 seconds, assuming you even get a critical hit with the response skill every 8 seconds, I don't think that's a significant change. They specifically reduced the cooldown from 20 seconds to 8 seconds. So I don't consider that much of an upgrade, at least from my perspective on the Guardian. And Lord Drock, you said that the world is well put together with LOTRO, and they did a phenomenal job with the Lord of the Rings storyline. So yes, I agree that if you like the Tolkien stories, LOTRO is a must and a good thing to try, and worth playing from that perspective as well. But the other thing with the Guardian is Stoic Bubble provides damage reduction during its effect rather than a heal on expiration. And that's the type of thing with tanking in LOTRO that you really want to reduce your incoming damage instead of... Tanking isn't really about avoidances, rather. Not about avoiding damage with your avoidances. So in the old days of LOTRO, actually having block, parry, and evade and having those up was a good thing, but now you really want like mitigations and damage reduction, that type of thing. The thing that Captain is basically good at. Captains also have a ton of morale to survive stuff. And hi Raphael Toledo, you asked which LM traits line you should use at level 50 in Moria. I personally switched to the red line at that point, but either blue or red line can be good, especially if you're leveling solo. I like red line because I think it starts to be a little bit faster around level... trying to remember actually. Around level 30 to 40 plus, it starts getting, I think, a little bit faster just total damage wise and going through quests compared to the blue line, but either of them are good. So the next change was Stoic, that's right. Here is Stoic. So this one is Warrior's Heart, apply a damage bubble on use. So Warrior's Heart, yeah, that's the cooldown skill. So we can go ahead and go through that and just see what it does. I'm going to pick basically a bunch of random traits on my way down there. I'm actually not sure. Shield Smash. Yeah, we'll just go. I really don't know if these are good traits. I'm just trying to quickly fill out some things that seem somewhat okay. So this reduces enemies BPE by 5% when you use Shield Smash, and Shield Blow. That's kind of interesting, but I'm not sure that's too effective. I don't remember that being a trait is kind of why I looked at it, but let's go ahead and apply Stoic and get that 100% just to see what it is. So it gives you minus 20% incoming damage for 15 seconds. Oh, the bubble, is that the change part? Yeah, the bubble potency. Okay, so the bubble potency is what we need to look at. That's 7,500, which at my numbers is an okay amount. It's not like a huge bubble, but it's just a tiny, basically a tiny increase to morale temporarily. I'm not sure. It even has a plus 10% max morale for 20 seconds, but this just absorbing 7,500 damage. That's like temporarily increasing your morale also by 7,500, but it goes away when you go below that. I don't think that sounds like a huge thing. And that's kind of one thing I've been reading, is it seems like these changes, people think they won't make the Guardian blue line like up to the captain level being the best tank again. And kind of what I'm seeing just with this character's numbers, that seems kind of reasonable. Okay, so the Bellow trait, that one reduces the cooldown of increases the range of Fray the Edge, and it says reduces the cooldown, -5 second cooldown. What? I think so. It says for rank 2, for rank 1 it goes from -5 second challenge cooldown reduction to plus 10 Fray the Edge max range, but I think each point is supposed to make it -5 seconds challenge cooldown. So if I get all 5 points, and then it should be -25 second challenge cooldown. And yeah, that's actually what it is with that. And now the tooltip actually says that it was just for the further ranks. It didn't show that. And then the last thing we have with the Guardians, break ranks now applies a group-wide buff rather than individual. So here is break ranks. And this gives, so if you get 1 point of this, shield taunt will cash out a maximum stack for 40% group buff damage for 15 seconds. That sounds like a crazy increase to damage for 15 seconds. But that cashes out your stacks of fortification, which, as far as I remember, fortification, if I can spell, I actually don't see that. But that is a passive that could actually be over here. Yeah, so that increases your mitigations by up to 5% total over time. So you basically cash out your mitigations to get a huge group damage buff. And that says it has a 60-second cooldown that you could do that on. And you also get a passive 5% damage buff. That one I'm not sure on. It seems to completely change, at least from what I think of the Blue Line Guardian as, to giving just huge damage buff to a group. Kind of trying to think about that a little bit. That's a huge damage increase. 40% damage buff is huge for 15 seconds, but you do lose your defenses, and that does not seem like a thing that Blue Line Guardian is themed around. That's really weird. And the trait is that you like throw aside your defensives to unleash punishment upon the enemy, as it says, but that is a lot of punishment, and it affects your whole group. But I'm not really sure if that's if that specific trait is supposed to make the Blue Line Guardian viable at endgame. I'm not really sure. I would think that's the way it should be. It seems like the Blue Line Guardian should be a defensive thing. I could see a trait like that in the Yellow Line, just because it's more thematic, I think, to the Yellow Line to focus more on punishing the enemies and doing damage. But I feel like we spent a long time on the Guardian changes, which is okay. But I think I'll go ahead and switch to a level 130 character. I just wanted to get a better idea and go through with you all what the actual Guardian changes were, especially because from my perspective, I don't really play Guardian that much, and I mostly play my low-level Guardian on an ore. And on that one, I usually play the red line and the yellow line. I don't really play the blue line, but I will say, as far as my personal taste with the blue line, I used to kind of hate it, but now I don't dislike it as much. But I think I'm going to go to a level cap character just to check out a little bit more with how the missions work on him. And I also as I mentioned, might check out the new 6-man instance, especially if there's a group forming. I might go ahead and jump in on this character and do that. Otherwise, I will start with the missions. And there is, I think this character, yeah, he's actually in the Isengard Tavern, which reminds me, they still have the Brawler filterable on the Who list. I really wonder what that's about. It seems like something they would have taken away very quickly, but I'm not sure. Oh, now this character got his intro missions quest. But I think there are barters. This is Bloody Threshold gear, which is the raid gear. It looks like they have updated it a little bit. I don't know if the cosmetic, that's one thing I'm just kind of curious on. Oh, those are leggings. Seems kind of unorganized a little bit still, but that's okay. This is the tier 2 Stair Battle. So this is from the instance, the 6-man, what you can get from it. All the cosmetics still look the same. I wonder if these are all placeholder cosmetics or if everything just looks the same in this update. I'm guessing it's more placeholder, and they'll touch up on that later. But I can go ahead and get, I think this guy should give me, I don't think that's the one I need, but he should give me the discovery for the 6-man, unless I already did that on this character. That is possible. And let me actually see what the instance panel has for us. Not an other. Well, yeah, so that's War of the Three Peaks. Okay. That's the Stair Battle, and Bloody Threshold is in this, so we have both of those. But the Stair Battle, I'm kind of curious, so I'm just going to enter it on this character and just look at it real quick. This is what it looks like. Looks like we have to defeat 2 enemies and then 1 enemy. I really don't expect to get far into this. I thought I'd just go ahead and look at it. Seems like we just get 2 regular mobs to start this fight though. Now that I'm doing all the Orton shouting, I need to turn my volume down. I feel like my streams, when I'm doing a beta like this, they're just so like unstructured compared to normal. It feels so weird to me. Like I feel like I'm just going off doing totally random things, but I guess that's the way it is with betas, which is okay. It's just a little bit weird. So far this, for a 6-man, would be extremely easy. I just kind of wanted to run through it a little bit just to get a look at it, but I did not expect to actually be able to do anything in it. I just thought it'd be interesting to see how much I could really do. I think I did the same thing in the raid. Yeah, here's a signature finally. This is supposed to be a 6-man, right? Oh, it's actually scaled to size 1. That explains a little bit. So this is actually nice that I get to test the size 1. But yeah, this made no sense if it was an actual 6-man. And that explains everything I'm seeing. So I actually do like that I can test this as a solo instance, just to get a look at it. Oh, so here's, yeah, the 2 I need to defeat. They're actually both elites. That's surprising for a solo instance compared to at least the Menace Morgul solo instances I've come upon on this character. Actually, I want to use Range Resounding Challenge if I'm going to. A little late for that, but could have used it there, but it's okay. I don't know if I have a damage buff or if it's just like my crazy gear, but I seem to be doing a ton of damage to these guys. I know I have like all the level 130 gear. I don't even have my essences on it. I just have it all and it's very strong, I know. Go ahead and loot this. I'm actually curious what the chest has. So I get 1 copper coin of Gundabad. Need a ton of those for the gear, but I do get 1. Which seems reasonable. I can't really tell with the numbers just doing this real quick in the beta if that's actually like a good thing or a bad thing that you get 1 copper coin. But it seems reasonable just from what I've seen so far, especially for a solo instance. I don't know how many of these total you could get doing this instance. But that's one thing with Menace Morgul so far going through on this character. For anybody unfamiliar, I'm just like going through that still on Louisden on this character on the Arkenstone. But that's one thing I have liked with Menace Morgul is that you can run the instances solo and get a little bit of reward, but then you can also run the full regular like group versions. So I'm guessing this is the way to Shatarka. Seems like a pretty nice instance so far. It would be a fun thing, I think, for me to wait on and just like get the first picture of that, but it's actually a little bit so Raphael, you asked how I get this totem around my character's face. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you're talking about this gear actually looks a little bit interesting. Whatever I have here, I think this is the Bloody Threshold like tier 2, whatever best armor set was available from the Isengard Tavern. But if you're talking about my custom character portrait, this one is the Blaze of Hope one from the legendary server. I think going to Moria on that. Here's a Frostbound Hobgoblin. Hobgoblins seem pretty common. They're a little bit bigger than I expected. And just by hearing the name Hobgoblin, I don't know if there have been ones in LOTRO. If there are, I haven't paid attention, but for some reason, I thought Hobgoblins were also goblin size. Maybe a little bit bigger, but not like these ones actually look full orc size to me. And this one, I'm guessing he's supposed to be a hobgoblin, but he actually looks tiny. Wow. So that had 3. I don't know why there are 2 chests here. There was 1 chest before the fight started, but that one had 3 copper coins of Gundabad. That's neat. And it looks like we have 2 more bosses to go after. Zermatt and Grazenolk. So far the 6 mana seeming pretty nice though. Guessing, okay, so you go left and then right, or you could go right and then left, I'm guessing. Get a Gundabad troll. At least to me so far, this seems like it'd be a fun one to replay and keep getting your copper coins of Gundabad and get your gear and then just all that stuff. Oh, so this is Grazenolk. I saw they had it hyphenated, so like Graz dash and dash Ulk. I did not realize it would be a 2-headed troll. I just thought it would be 2. 2 bosses in one, like that first boss fight we had. And then I'm guessing Zermatt is somewhere. I'm actually not sure where I would go after this, unless he comes down here. Hi Ryan McFarland, and they are not bumping the level cap. It is going to be staying at 130. With this update, we'll probably get an increased level cap when there's actually the Gundabad or Mount Gundabad expansion, whatever they decide to call it. So I can't hit him right now, but my dot is still ticking from range resounding challenge. It's a little bit odd. Stage 1 is AI active. Groz is in control. Okay. I guess you are just having to wait for their argument or whatever. Oh, apparently that was it. Somehow I defeated Zermatt and Groz and Ulk there. I don't remember fighting a Zermatt, but that was it. Overall, I got 6 coins, 6 copper coins of Gundabad, and again, that doesn't seem bad to me, especially for a solo instance. But I really don't have the full perspective that with just how much I can test in the beta and test today doing it, but that seemed pretty decent. And as far as the instance goes, I actually enjoyed it. I think it'd be a fun one to do. The solo version, and if we get a group, I'll do the 6-man version. But otherwise, with this stream, I need to explore the missions a little bit more, and I will do that on this character. So I think the map maker here, I don't know if he makes one, if I can stop hiccuping. If he makes one to, I think these are in alphabetical order. So I don't even know the name of the place I need to go to. I think it starts with an A. It's in East Gondor, so it's not that one. But I am honestly not sure the name of it. It could be my milestone might be there. Nope. That is not. It would be Elderslade as the zone. But I need to go specifically to the town there. So the town, yeah, it's Anak Curfew. And I think I can actually just spend mythal coins to go there pretty quickly. They're the dwarf recruiters. If I go to Bree, actually, that would be a good one to see, because I'm curious if they've updated this at all. I don't think there are any dwarf recruiters in Bree, at least there weren't in the preview build number 1. But we can see if they've added any. Yeah, I still don't, compare to like Thorin's Gate, where they're actually the dwarf recruiters, they're right next to the stable master, and I still don't see any here. They could be off a little bit from here. They wouldn't necessarily have to be right exactly here. I was getting a little bit of a lag spike, so hopefully that doesn't mean I drop frames as well. But one thing I am going to do is go ahead and get my subscriber town services daily done, so I can just have that. Yeah, one thing just with the beta that's so nice is you can get everything. Oh, they actually updated the virtues. I didn't even see that. I might actually still have some virtue consumables. No, I have those little ones. But they updated the virtue so you can actually go all the way to level 72 now, it looks like. Oh, here I have a bunch. So yeah, these just give a crazy amount of stats at this level. Oh, one thing I'm just curious who they have here, if they still have Myrtle Mint. Yeah, they still have Myrtle Mint. I think she's supposed to get replaced by the curator, maybe with this update, but I'm not entirely sure. But that clearly has not happened yet. Okay, so now we can actually go and do some missions on this character. So this character should have, he has 7 Gabalaka War Marks and has 16 copper coins of Gundabad, just from what I've already done on him. And I have not done questing, and I guess I should let everybody know I don't plan to test questing at all. That is something I like to save for the actual release of the update. Even the instance, that's something I would like to save, but I think that's a little bit different, or different enough. Especially like just being able to quickly boot it up and listen and run it. It's not a problem, I don't think. But the only place I have seen the dwarf recruiters other places, but the only quickest place to get to that I know where they are is Thorin's Gate. Ooh, so there's actually somebody searching for the 6-man. 2 out of 6. So I'll try and run that. I would say I could tank, but I'm not quite fully up on that. So this one is talk to one of the guards. Looks like we're running tier 2 version. Somehow I'm too far away from this recruiter. You have to be standing like right on top of him. And it looks like the intro quest. I have some quest rings. Oh yeah, this character can get all the regular quests. These are all like the zone quests against the ones I'm not doing. And it looks like they have actually fixed the intro quest where you don't have to like randomly run way back, and you can just talk to Glowin or talk to Durin and then get actually started with it. So this character, I guess all his missions progress has been restarted. So I still have, again, the Gopalaka War Marks. Yeah, these, so you have the March on Gundabad quest, and these I think are for level 130 specifically to do the missions. And then you also have if I can find it, you have a level 130 specific, I think, to complete the missions, and then you also have just a general daily that any level character can do. I think. Yeah, the war effort missions for the cause, that one is level 130 only, and then the March on Gundabad ones are the scalable ones. So like these ones, actually I'm not entirely sure. This one might be the one that doesn't scale. Assisting the war effort. This one might be the 130 only, and then the war effort is the scaling one. But anyway, we can get in the instance and actually ready for that, I think. Hey Karak Alvaron, things are a lot calmer for me this week, which is good. Well, it looks like they're already in here, starting this off. So this is the new 6-man instance. Of course, I've already run the solo version, but as I mentioned, if I found a group, I would go ahead and try that and get the full 6-man perspective, I suppose. It'd just be nice for me to see a little bit how these instances might be different from the solo version, and again, this is a very easy way to quickly boot in, and it'll probably be relatively easy with all the gear everybody probably has from the Isengard Tavern. This character I still haven't put all my essences in, so that's one thing a little bit with him that I could do to just be slightly better with the group. Actually, I don't know, I could have one of those things that don't help. Oh, I should actually get into fellowship chat so I can see. Yeah, this looks pretty similar to the solo version, just more NPCs first of all, but also higher difficulty level. They aren't just regular normal mobs. This is what I would have expected if I actually entered. Oh, these mobs are respawning. That's a little bit weird. I wonder if it's because we didn't speak to Oli yet. I still don't think we have a tank, but it seems to be with the healer at least pretty easy here for us. I'm not sure. I think we need to talk to the NPC still. This would have been more exciting, I think, if I didn't already do the... I guess I'll go talk to that dwarf. Unless this is something, this could be something that everybody just individually needs to do. Oh yeah, that reset them. I wonder, I'm guessing you're supposed to have all these mobs. I'm probably going to wipe. I feel like I'm totally messing up this group here, but this is a little bit weird that the mobs reset. They reset earlier. I wonder if somebody else talked to Oli. I thought it was just something we needed to do as like once one person in your group did it, then it would do it for everybody, but I seem to have messed things up by not doing it yet before we actually moved on. But it's okay. Well, now these mobs are respawning too. It's really weird. I'm not used to mobs respawning like this in instances. I don't even know what dots I've used already. Crazy, I guess this Beorning's healing and just able to heal us DPS taking all this damage. This is a little bit weirder. I don't know if I was just going through it so fast on the solo version. I was kind of running through it anyway, but I wonder if these mobs are actually supposed to keep on respawning or just supposed to run through. I think in the fellowship chat they're saying it's just a gauntlet, which I think is interesting. Okay, that mob is dying. And he has a lot of morale. One thing I am curious on though is seeing the rewards. If any actual like drops will be gear or anything like that. Doubt he's stunnable. Yeah, he's not. This is a bit odd because there are two of the NPCs, but I'm actually thinking get the strong bleeds on each of them. They're actually going down pretty quickly. These are only elite masters for some reason in the full fellowship version. It was 2 elites for me solo, and then for the full fellowship version they only upgrade it to 2 elite masters. Seems a bit odd, but I guess it works. I am unfortunately not a high elf, so I cannot res. But the Beorning should be able to. And there is no chest. That's a little bit weird. I don't know if anybody else can see a chest there, but there's not one for me. Oh yeah, I just saw that Shadow Knife the Burglar got the plus attack damage and Tomes of Defense. Those are actually things that I could just freely use. That type of stuff right here. So I actually have like plus 5% morale and power. Might as well use that to help a little bit just because this is the beta server, so none of those consumables, keeping them or saving them actually matters for anything. Oh, it looks like I actually have some essence boxes. Carrick, there have been no gear drops yet. That's one thing I'm actually interested to see when we get through all this, is what sort of gear drops there might be from this. I think I need to use... I could force taunt them all. That would be a little bit iffy on the surviving. I don't know how strong my morale taps are here, but we don't have a proper tank. One of us Wardens, or I could always go tank spec, but we seem to be okay. But yeah, just so far, no gear drops yet. There is actually gear barterable as far as gear sets. There's the Eyes of Isengard Tavern has some of the new gear from the raid and 6-man. I don't know if that's just barterable, that it will be barterable for like Embers of Enchantment or whatever in the future, or if it'll be barterable at all. If it's like just to let you get it to test it out on the server, if it's random drops you have to rely on. I really have no idea how it works like that, but I would guess that maybe it will be barterable somehow, and you have to like complete it, and probably with Embers of Enchantment would be my guess. But there's also gear in the zone for your new copper coins of Gundabad or whatever. I have no idea what game it's already used. It's kind of the problem. I run through them all and then the mobs are basically dead. I feel like I'm spending my time doing nothing. I could just repeat like the 3-2 Desolation, I think it's called. Oh, he activated fast. So this one's also only an Elite Master. That's a little bit weird as well. The bosses are only Elite Masters in the... Oops, wrong order there. In the full Fellowship version. It's just a little bit weird. Actually, I need to use my... I always forget about the Javelin skills. I am really bad about that. He has a ton of dots on him. I don't know. Maybe he was just hitting me. I honestly wasn't paying too much attention. Creeping Cold. I wonder if I had a debuff. That's also possible. I was too busy paying attention to all the Warden dots with the other one here and all that was going on with that. And Nibling. You asked out of curiosity, what are my thoughts on that Eye of Sauron survey thing they mentioned back in like March? So my first thought on that is that it sounds weird. It seems like the idea was to make it more difficult. So when the Eye of Sauron is open, enemies do more damage. But then they have at least in the producer's letter, this is way back when that they were thinking about this, I guess they said that, ooh, here's some gear. I got an essence box. Some of them got actual gear pieces. So there's item level 429 that looks like it just drops here. There's a 428 plus. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. And another 428 plus. But these are actual gear drops from this. I'll go ahead and take a screenshot just to have reference of it. And then I got a tier 6 essence box, which has all these essences, which I should probably, my crit, oops, I'm going the wrong way. My crit rating is okay. That's the thing with this character, I could spend all this time to build him up just for the beta server, but it seems a little pointless. Like, it would be nice to do and kind of think about all that stuff a little bit more, but it's kind of, because it's beta, I don't really care as much about that, and because it's temporary, even though it's nice that I can have like a fully maxed out character on a server like this, even if briefly. And that actually is one thing I was thinking. I'm a big fan of like catch-up mechanics and things like that, but there is a point where you actually need a reward to have any motivation to run content like instances or anything like that, raids. So just being handed gear for free, I definitely don't think is a good thing, but it's just something I was thinking about since I've at least lately made a lot of videos about catch-up mechanics. It's less so with actually like gear and that stuff, more with specifically trait points and virtues and a little bit the LIs. I actually don't think the LI system overall is too bad. It's mainly with weapon swapping with it, first of all. I'm definitely not a fan of that, but there is a little bit of an excess grind to it. Anyway, with the Eye of Sauron server, I think I mentioned that it seems a little bit weird that the idea of increasing difficulty, making mobs hit harder, and then at the same time giving you more damage is a little bit weird to go along with it. Looks like the other warden covered the javelin skills again, so that is good for me. Meaning I don't have to, basically. Oh yeah, he did the same thing when I was solo, and we just can't do anything against him.
What are you doing, you imbeciles? Kill them!
Otherwise, it's like the legendary servers. I actually still play on the Nor legendary server, but I play because my kinship is there. It's moved on to content I don't enjoy as much, so if my kinship wasn't on a Nor, I probably just wouldn't play there anymore at all. Whoa, he did a lot of damage to me. Oops, I did the wrong sequence there, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I don't have my interrupt available. Glad these other people are taking care of the interrupts while mine was on cooldown there. This actually went notably, it seemed like noticeably faster when the other warden wasn't up. I really don't know what bleeds I haven't used lately. That's the one thing I just stopped paying attention a little bit there. So you said, Nibling, you played on Anor for a while and you like the Shadows of Angmar. Yeah, the Shadows of Angmar there was really, really fun to me. Seems like Scroll of Empowerment, Heritage, And then also some gear, some item level 428 gear. This is a tanky piece, which if I wanted to tank, that would be good, but as at least a good amount of people know, the warden tanking isn't in a great state right now. It's a little bit odd with this instance that the first boss had no chest, even though in the solo version it did. And it looks like we also got our copper coins of Gundabad. I got a copper coin of Gundabad, then 3 copper coins of Gundabad. It looks like everybody got the same. I don't know if for completing a deed it's possible. But yeah, we 4-main the new instance, which means its difficulty is probably not too high, at least on whatever tier we did. I guess we did tier 2. So these don't look much better than the rumor chant drops. I'm not familiar with the rumor chant drops, unfortunately. I just think it's nice to see that gear actually drops. That's one thing. I guess in LOTRO gear usually does drop, but it was just like one concern I had running through the Menace Morgul solo instance is at least no gear dropped, which is okay for solo ones, I think. Or at least so far what I've run like, I don't know, each one. Not each one 10 times, but maybe 10 to 15. Total of the solo instances in Menace Morgul on this character, or just in general. But I think for this character I'll go ahead and do the intro mission and then see if he actually has a chest or if they've actually fixed the rewards so they're associated with the mission quest. That will be the next step in this stream. And then otherwise, maybe if there is a raid that forms, I wouldn't mind potentially joining that. I'm kind of doubting people will really be running that. I guess I should talk to Scoutmaster Ozma. Ozma seems like a little bit of a strange dwarf name, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so stat-wise, having the fellowship chat there and just like not moving will totally distract me, so I was just switching that tab, but yeah, stat-wise I'm not sure compared to Rumor Chant. And I would think as a 6-man instance that it might not even necessarily, even though it is new content, I don't think it would necessarily have to be better than the raid content, the old raid content even, but to me, without actually having played through the instances, kind of my perspective is that I would like that they keep at least some of the Menace Morgul content relevant, even though a lot of people are probably more tired of running through it. Having reason to still run it, I think, would be a good thing. Just gives you more content to do at level 130, I think. That's actually one reason I was a fan of the level cap staying the same with this update, rather than going ahead and like advancing it. And I think that's kind of odd because with update 20... Okay, he's moving again. With update 23... if I have my numbers correctly. Yeah, update 23, when they increased the level cap to 120 from 115. I think that update would have been fine at 115, but for some reason I like that they... It was probably because of Mordor, but I like that they went ahead and increased the level cap there with that update. Which that update, update 23, seems... It had a full instance cluster. I know the raid was pretty big, I think. And the missions, of course, are a big part. What's really supposed to set this update and make it the whole mini expansion thing and all that, but... What was I thinking? Update 23. I thought it was fine that they increased the level cap. Oh, so Carrick, you said they generally progress gear when they do new paid content, so we'll see. Yeah, if this was a regular quest pack and just a new instance cluster with that, I kind of get what you're saying with the new paid content. Like, it just like totally goes up in terms of the skill of gear. I could definitely see that. I think, okay, this dwarf is still here. I know I was just going off to the side a little bit because you just like sit here waiting for them for a little bit. It's kind of like the intro skirmishes. The intro skirmish quests are a little bit annoying. This is less annoying. This is an actual mission, at least. It's a pretty short mission overall, but you just spend that time doing nothing. You can go about and kill some enemies in the meantime. For some reason, I feel like I've had more to test in this beta build number 2, than I did in build number 1. Because, well, I will say build number 1, I did a lot of random missions. So the intro mission quest wasn't working, and that's actually working now. It seems like we have proper progression of the mission system. So a lot of good changes between build 1 and build 2, but it almost gives me more to actually test and look at with build 2. Having already played build 1 even, which introduced a lot of this stuff. I honestly just think build 1, it felt like it wasn't actually ready. It seems like this is what we should have had in build 1. But it's, either way, it's good that it's improving, I think. Okay, so it does look like you still get your mission reward chest for doing it at level 130. It could just be an extra thing you get for doing it at 130. Because you do. As we saw in the Guardian, they at least got for the actual mission quest, it gave you some Gundabad coins, copper coins, I think. This one, of course, gave 15 Gabalaka ore marks, but it's just the intro one. So I did uncovered treasures, I think. Goblin Town Gauntlet. Yeah, all these look like they give a couple Gabalaka ore marks. So that's one thing I feel like is I don't see any reason that low-level characters once below level 130 can't get that mission chest and extra Gabalaka ore mark, especially considering that the Gabalaka ore marks, I really hope that's actually how it's pronounced. It seems like Gabalaka, but it's just fun to call it Gabalaka, and that's kind of what it looks like. Anyway, correct? You said it's been nice chatting with you, Louie, and you have to deal with your teenagers. Well, have fun with that, and thanks for stopping by the stream at least. But otherwise, for today, I think I will go ahead and just explore Elderslade a little bit, and then kind of wrap up this stream a little bit early, just because that will be about the point where I'm done testing stuff with the new build, and that's kind of the point today. Not to go on a big questing adventure or something that would be a normal stream, and again, that's still really weird to me. There are a lot of quests here, I know. Again, I'm not doing them, I'm just looking a little bit at like what they involve, collecting crystals. Oh, that's an interesting quest. Collect the new journal, the 1st through 10th page. Sounds like one of those things where you have to get the pages lost lore things. Three peaks and all swords. This looks like a table with no peaks and no swords. I thought they could have been talking about like if there was a map on the table or something. It's almost what it looked like going up to it, but it's just a table. There is Test Saruman. Click me to teleport to the Isengard Tavern. Okay. I was wondering why this familiar face from the Tower of Orthanc was here, and he takes you to the Isengard Tavern. I'm not sure I'd actually trust that, though. I'm a little skeptical. It's also weird that there is looked like a crow. Getting a little more detail, it looks like a bat now. Yeah, that looks like a bat. I'm not sure why a bat. The bat carries a piece of paper. Okay. Ask scouts about the bat. Again, I don't want to look at the questing too much. I just thought that was interesting. So I think this looks over the Wells of Langflood zone. I haven't been to Wells of Langflood at all. So I'm not too oops. Wells of Langflood. This is really weird because I think in the live server, clicking Wells of Langflood takes you to Wells of Langflood, and I keep doing this, but that's clearly not what it does to get to Wells of Langflood. I have to do either that or this. And Wells of Langflood, also known as Mist Hollow. There's actual Mist Hollow. But yeah, I'm looking over Wells of Langflood, and again, I haven't been there. I've just poked my head into Wells of Link from the Vales of Anduin side up there. Anyway, it's just a neat look at it, I think, from here. That was the whole point of that a little bit. And I did already explore the Elderslade zone, but I just wanted to do a little bit more exploration today with it. I didn't quite explore everything. I also got like no screenshots of anything at least interesting. I did get a little bit with like the Gates of Gundabad and some areas around there, but this is a very not too smart thing to do. So I have all my UI hidden. I just like that for exploring in general, because then you get to see more. But then I can't. I really need the map. I'm very much so a map navigator. I gotta go by the map to see if I'm going it the right way. Edible indigo leaf. Oh yeah, and one thing is those dragons. I haven't actually seen one yet, but we'll have to watch out for that. I want to go up here and see what the structure is. That's kind of why I was heading this way. Crows and worms and wargs on the way. It looks like an enemy structure, but it looks like a dwarven... let me rephrase that. It looks like a dwarven structure, but it looked like an enemy camp on the map somehow. And that sure is what it looks like. It doesn't look like you can actually go in that building. I'm just trying to run through here peacefully, to be honest. I just want to get to the other end to get a little bit of exploration done, but I have to run through all these orcs first. I wonder if they'll have like those rare Mordor treasures. I don't know if those are, that's like specifically, there's a reflecting pool. Does it say unusable or unusual? Oh, this is a bad idea, but I'm going to try to jump these rocks a little bit. And LOTRO, that often results in death for anybody unfamiliar. Wow, I have a ton of archers attacking me. I might just have to fight everybody after all that. Oh no. Oh, I thought I fell. The only reason I didn't want to fight everybody, in a way at least, is because I'm in DPS spec, which just means a little bit harder to survive, but I can use all these potions. And it's not really the point of me going out. So Nibling, you asked how I am finding captains right now. You haven't actually played in like a year and a half. So I actually had a whole video on this. I don't know if you have seen that or if that's why you're asking or one reason you're asking. Unsafe reflecting pool. That's interesting. So apparently, this is like a total spoiler just going here. It says the reflecting pool till the dwarves retake, I'm guessing through the story. Eventually the dwarves will retake this, but that's like a total story spoiler at least. But with the captain, I haven't played one, at least at end game. But well, actually I have done, if you consider Shadows of Angmar end game. Like very loosely, that is end game. Just at a different level cap. Otherwise I haven't played like a high level captain, but in general they're a little bit, just something with how they play, it's a little bit slow, but not that they like fight slow, that there's just delays and stuff going on, and they've actually fixed a lot of that, but that's just what I feel like a little bit with them when I play them. So I'm kind of wondering, the Gates of Gundabad should be, I wonder if they're supposed to be right there. That is the, no. Supposed to be over there. Straight where I'm pointing, I think. Because that's kind of, yeah, pretty much. So there's one outlet of the river right there, or inlet to the lake. And then one over there, and the gates should be just beyond that one. I think they're just not rendering from here, so it makes it look a little bit weird, but there should be the Gates of Gundabad there where my cursor is. But yeah, with the captain, the captains are actually in a really good state right now. The red and yellow line at least are, especially tanking. They're the best tanks in the game, I think by a wide margin actually. or at least a decently wide margin, and with the DPS, the support they provide, they're always good with that. The blue line is a little bit weak as far as like fully healing, being a dedicated healer. So yes, what class I would say feels the smoothest to play right now? For me, that's a bit hard just because I like to pick on a non-smooth feeling with classes, but I think the Guardian is one of the smoothest classes to play, and particularly in the red line. So the red line, of course, isn't the strongest DPS spec, and there are things I could pick on about it that I don't like, but as far as smoothness goes, oh, there's the Gates of Gundabad, I think. It's kind of hard to tell because, yeah, it's just rendering in. It's just so far away. Now stuff's rendering in, okay. I should have my settings. I know all my settings somehow got reset, but I should have... Okay, I actually don't have them on ultra high. Normally I have it on ultra high. I'm not sure why. Well, I guess, yeah, my settings were reset in this, but that would be why things weren't rendering. But there are the Gates of Gundabad, and just what I wanted to explore that a little bit more, get a little bit more perspective on that. Actually, that actually did decrease my FPS by a decent amount. And I know I love the Warden, it's a class I really enjoy, but I will admit that sometimes they don't have super smooth gameplay just because lag, like, to me, lag on a Warden is more annoying than basically any other class. For some reason, screenshots like this, it'd be better if you could get a view from like a higher up vantage point. There's one thing nice about getting Minas Morgul screenshots of Minas Morgul actually was that you could get a real nice vantage point. And I don't know if that thing is climbable. We could investigate it, take a little bit to travel there, but if you could get to the top of that little random mountainy hill in the middle of this lake. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with the water in LOTRO, but at some point, I think I still am moving just very slowly, but at some point in LOTRO's past, maybe around 3-4 years ago, something like that maybe, they updated the water, like the graphics of the water, and to me when they did that, it made it look so much uglier than the old water. And this water, it just doesn't graphically look that good compared to old water. Not even like in old zones, they just updated water everywhere, the graphics of them for some reason. But it just makes it look a little bit weird here, and it's like fully reflective, and even at this angle I'd expect it to reflect the landscape instead of just the clouds. But the point is, I think with that it would be interesting to see the water from, if they never actually updated the graphics of the water, to, at least in my opinion, be a lot worse. I don't think there are any settings specifically for water, because I looked at like all the graphics with that, and the main reason I play usually on medium or high and turn some things up and down. I basically customize everything to try to keep my performance up, but also have the least impact on visual quality. For one, I like playing at high FPS, and for two, OBS likes to make my FPS go down, and LOTRO is already sometimes has low FPS. And one thing with LOTRO is it doesn't utilize all of my GPU, and my GPU is pretty old. It's a GTX 970, but even with that, it never fully utilizes it, and I'll get like low FPS. And as far as the CPU goes, the game's CPU intensive, and particularly depends on like your single core clock speed. So I think my CPU, it's an i7 7700K, is fairly decent with that. And it looks like we will get a little bit of a better, more complete view over here. I don't know what that structure on the left is supposed to be. That almost looks like, it almost reminds me of Dale a little bit. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, if it's just supposed to be part of Gundabad. It's got a little bit of a different color and maybe even, yeah, a little bit of different architecture. Okay, so Nibling, specifically with the Guardian being smoothest, their tanking might have a smooth feel with gameplay. At least to me, this is of course all from my perspective and opinion of that. I'm just trying to get a few different screenshots because I will need some backgrounds for thumbnails coming up in the future. And this seems like a good area to get a nice view, and it's just nice, I think, to view some of this. But if y'all are wondering why I am just like running around here kind of randomly, it'd be nice to look at this area at different times of days. One thing I will say is that landscape out there with just like the low resolution texture and low resolution just landscape in general off in the distance doesn't always look that great. That's why areas with trees like that mountain I don't think looks as bad compared to if I turn there. That's kind of bare and just has nothing. But at least on that side they have trees, so it's looks a little bit better. There's a lot going on, just a lot of different textures showing with the actual gates of Gundabad. That's actually a neat view. I'm going this way, seeing the 3 waterfalls even, but these 2 kind of rivers or creeks flowing into the lake. But what was I on the Guardian? To me, they feel the smoothest, but that's specifically, I was actually thinking about their DPS spec, and I think I mentioned that the DPS, of course, they aren't the best DPS. But with tanking, I believe the gameplay itself still, at least to me, feels really smooth on them. I also think in general, Hunter is a little bit weird, but in general, range classes also feel smooth, especially induction-based ones can feel smooth to me. So Runekeeper does as well in Hunter, and Minstrel even. I think their gameplay is pretty smooth. Champion's a lot more smooth than it used to be, I will say that. I don't have like an actual quantitative experience. That's what I was gonna say, but that doesn't make too much sense. As far as the actual, so there's in LOTRO the skills go. Well, just looking at this landscape a little bit here, I'm going to start swimming while I'm talking because this will be a little bit of a long thing, but I think it'll be good to talk about. If I don't die from all this falling, I'll go ahead and get my UI back. But I want to move actually up to the gates of Gundabad and maybe even go explore that little area, that town, a little bit more. We will go, I think this is the best way to go. Although actually it looks like there's a little ramp up over there. I thought there would be. But while I am swimming, this is a bit of an awkward angle for screenshots actually, but I might be able to get few decent ones here. So in LOTRO, the skill time, I think if I remember right, there are 3 parts. So you press the button and then there's some just natural lag delay, latency, effectively between when the game actually registers that you press the button and all that, and the server specifically registers that. And then you have the animation of the actual skill. It like triggers and that begins and the animation plays out. And then you have this period where the animation finishes, but the skill time is still going, I think. It's been a while since I've actually looked at this, but I think that's effectively what it works out as. The animation finishes, but then you have an animation delay, essentially, of the skill time after your actual skill goes off, or the actual animation finishes. And then you can use your next skill. So when you don't have that animation delay, it is instant between like pressing one of your skills. So if I used, wow, I got a ton of screenshots there. If I used Warden's Quick Thrust and Shield Bash, there might be a little bit of delay between the animation of Quick Thrust and when you actually use Shield Bash. And it's really fast. It's something that I think used to be a lot bigger. in general, I think they've reduced a lot of animation delays and things like that, but that's kind of the way it works. And some classes like Champion used to be really bad with it, but I don't even remember the whole point of why I started this whole story with the animation delays, but it's just something that to me makes some of the classes feel not smooth, and Captain is one of them. Or at least it used to be a lot more. It's again been made better since whenever Captains were updated earlier, I think this year, or I think it was earlier this year they were updated, but I can't say for sure exactly when. So it looks like we have some Iron Crown folk here. This is an enemy territory. It actually does look a little bit Karn Doomish, which is where there's a lot of Ingmar and Iron Crown and Ingmar. But this, actually looking at it from here, it reminds me of Karn Doom, really. Not necessarily actually Karn Doom. I should say the Fasatch Valroid over here, kind of getting to Dawnvale, I think, and especially around there, it just reminds me of some of that. Maybe a little bit less red, but it really reminds me of that area in Ingmar, kind of northwestern Ingmar, before you cross over the line, like with a whatever book quest, and go to like way northeast Ingmar. But yeah, this reminds me of that, and I think it's interesting to see. I guess we'll eventually get to go there questing. Eventually I'll get to do that, at least on this character on the live server on Arkenstone. But it's nice, that's just one of the things with the first beta build, that there were a lot of different things I wanted to do with that and just check out basically everything. In this specific stream I had like the 3 things in mind of testing the missions, class updates, exploring the Guardian update a little bit more, and the Elderslade zone was the other thing. I did this last time as well. I accidentally ran into all this. I really should switch to the tank spec for when stuff like this happens. But I was just exploring the gates of Gundabad, and of course there are a whole bunch of enemies basically wanting to prevent you to get to Gundabad, I think. So running through here is a little bit dangerous. And it looks like I got one of those like auto bestow quests when you kill somebody. Looks like it kept that quest for me and I killed 12 enemies here, but yeah, last time we also went all the way up to like Wormsgraf and even to Tar Bronak there. Which I don't know, it's kind of at the very top of the map, so I can't actually tell where it goes, just north. And if you look way up here, it's like Forwardwaith. I don't know what Forwardwaith is supposed to be, if it's like just an always snowy region up there, if it's flat, mountainous. As you go basically north of where you can see on this map is kind of, I think, where that's supposed to lead. Not really supposed to lead anywhere. It's just like a dead end, essentially. Yeah, this isn't, I don't know, it just isn't the best view down here. That's kind of the problem with the gates of Gundabad, is they're up high, which makes sense. But it just means as far as like getting screenshots, it'd be nice to see them from above instead of this is kind of from below, I think. That's why it just looks a little funky, I guess would be the best way to put it. But yeah, this is about all I wanted to explore. I don't know if anybody wants to requesting anything specific. I was just going to go to the Stable Master here and look a little bit down at this flat area. I know that place that we see straight across is another Ingmarim area. Flowing water, I know I talked about the water being updated to look a lot, I think less good, but flowing water still looks pretty decent. I think it's just when you have a flat area of non-moving water, that's something they did when they update it, just makes it look worse. But we can move on from that and get off that topic. I don't know how many more beta builds they do, kind of thinking towards the future. I'm really not sure, because it seems like, at least from the first beta build, that a lot of things have been fixed, and there might be some more minor bugs. I don't know if they're planning on introducing any... new systems or anything. Like the LI revamp was something some people thought, or at least I personally hope the LI revamp would go ahead and be in update 28, but we haven't seen that. I'll actually take the non-swift travel so I get a little bit of a view from that, maybe. What would be the best way? We'll just let the first what? Hold up. I'm going to stay zoomed out for a little bit to let this go back where it's supposed to. Okay. There we go. And now it should just take me where I need to go, so we can see. Might be better to see it like this, so I can actually see myself. While we let Louisden go back to whatever the town name is, Amar something. I really don't remember. Anak Kerfu. Eventually I'll remember this town name. Enabling, you said it's cool that you answer some of my off-topic questions. So off-topic questions are always fun to me, and I really like talking about classes and the way they play. Even if some of them do bother me, I think it's fun to talk about. Anyway, I might actually try to get, this could be a decent area to get a screenshot of the gates of Gundabad, but I really think it's because we're so low down, it just makes it look a little bit weird at the angle. And you also do get the 3 peaks there. That's actually something to consider from that. I think those are supposed to be the 3 peaks of kind of Mount Gundabad, that area. But anyway, with this stream, again, that was pretty much all I was going to do, just doing the outro stuff while letting the goat take us through Elderslade a little bit. Tomorrow is... Oh, there's one of those flying drakes. I hadn't quite seen one yet. And then we got to see 2. I kind of forgot about that. Oh, there's one that flew right in front of me. I don't know if we're done with them, but that's, yeah, definitely one thing I forgot about from the first build that I was kind of hoping to see, and now that we're going back to the town, we get to see them. But anyway, kind of thinking towards my future content a little bit, I really haven't had much time to think about. So tomorrow I think I will have a video. I will try to, actually, I don't think I can do a video by tomorrow. I'll probably do a stream tomorrow. And actually, I really don't know about tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll have something. I don't know if it'll be a video or a stream. That's what I'm kind of deciding right now. And then Wednesday, I'll probably have a kin event, but I'm not entirely sure. And Thursday, I will probably get back to Louisden, actually going through Minas Morgul, trying to finish that up maybe this week. I will have another little bit busy weekend, but I don't think quite as busy next weekend. And in general, I'm going to be less busy this week, at least for a little bit. So I guess I'll go ahead and take this character back to the war room. I can go back there. It was really neat seeing the instance gear and just actually being able to see that and run through it with 4 people without an actual proper tank. I think we even ran tier 2. Of course, everybody has overpowered gear from the Isengard Tavern, I think, and all their virtues and that sort of stuff, like way boosted up from that. But it was probably some contribution from stuff like that to make it go super easily. But anyway, as far as this stream goes, again, that is it. And yeah, I should have some exciting content this week, I guess, is the summary of that. I haven't really thought completely about it because I've been thinking about just what I needed to do this weekend and get done today. But otherwise, again, as far as this one goes, I hope you all enjoyed it, exploring a little bit more with the update 28 beta build, specifically build number 2 with that, checking out the missions and the Guardian update, and even the new instance, the new 6-man, which Hashel ran the solo version of. So that was pretty neat to me, and then exploring the Elderslade region and the Gates of Gundabad a little bit more. And if you enjoyed all that, please consider liking and subscribing for more. And thanks for joining and chatting and watching, everyone.